True or false? Jesus is our high priest. Now, here's the next question. Okay? How is it that Jesus can function as our high priest? Okay, He's been both God and man. Why is it so important that He holds both positions? Okay, as far as man is concerned, it's good that He knows our situation in life. He knows our struggles. The text last week said He was tempted in all points like as we are. Okay, so He understands what it's like to be tempted and to have to go through those temptations and fight the temptations. And anything that you and I have experienced, guess what? For the most part, He has experienced. Okay, but Larry said He's also in the position of who? God, right? So why is it important that He's in the position of God? Ah, yes, because He can have access to the Father. Perfect access, can He not? Being in that position, He knows everything from God's standpoint too, doesn't He? He knows what it's like to be perfect. He knows what it's like to be holy. He knows what it's like to be all-powerful. He understands God's position, and yet He also understands man's position, so now He can effectively operate among both. Okay? Now, for us, we're only concerned with the standpoint really that He's who? No, we're really concerned about His being a man. Okay? Because we want Him to understand what? How we feel and what we've gone through, right? Okay, so we've got this mediator. He is a man. He's been tempted in all points like as we are, yet without sin. And then the writer of Hebrews in Hebrews 4:16 says this, "Let us therefore." Okay, there's another one of those "let us" phrases that are found in the book of Hebrews. Let us therefore. Now notice what he says, "Come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need." Guys, I know that Jesus is my mediator, my go-between, my high priest between me and who? God. I'm going to the throne of grace. I'm going to God the Father. But I know that as I approach Him, I have someone through whom I can go. Okay? I'm not going to God all by myself. How would you like to do that? Now one day, guess what? We will stand in the presence of God with no go-between. Okay? It will just be me and God at judgment, right? Time for mediation, time for salvation, time for all of that is gone, isn't it, at judgment. Okay? Just me and God. But right now, I have a mediator, don't I? And notice what he says. Because you have Jesus as a high priest, he says, "Let us therefore come hesitantly under the throne of grace, boldly." Guys, look at the definition of the word boldly there in your notes. Okay? Strong says that it means all-out spokenness. Wow. Frankness, bluntness, with the addition of assurance. Thayer says that it means freedom in speaking, unreservedness in speech, free and fearless confidence, cheerful courage, boldness, assurance. What does he mean then? Let us come boldly under the throne of grace. Confident, okay? Don't be afraid. What else? In faith. No shame. Okay. Nothing else? With expectation. Wow, yeah. With expectation. Okay. Okay, trusting. I was hoping you'd get down into the dirty stuff. Okay, y'all are right now on this high stuff. Trusting, faith, courage, no fear. Okay. Guys, it means more than that. Okay? You can come to God and guess what? You can bare your soul to God. You know that? You can say to Him whatever you want to say. You know that? You come with frankness. You come with boldness. You come with what? What is he saying? What are some of the definitions? Outspokenness, bluntness. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Who said that? Oh, y'all missed it. Y'all got it half right. David said it. And Jesus said it. Okay, because Jesus quoted David. Okay, but they both said it. Is that pretty frank? Is that pretty bold to go to God and ask Him that question? It's pretty bold, is it not? Oh, Abraham, he goes to God and he says, 50 righteous, 45 righteous, 40, 30, 20. How many? 10, 50. How many? 45, 40, 30, 20, 10. 6 times. And every time he just kept doing what? Going less and less and less. Wow. 10 in a city. That's all I asked for. And guess what God did every time? He granted him his request, did he not? Yes for 50, yes for 45, yes for 40, yes for 30, yes even for 10. If you could find just 10 righteous souls in this city, I'll save the city. The Apostle Paul said that he had a thorn in the flesh. You think that would bug you? If you don't know, go stick one in you. It's painful, isn't it? Whatever that thorn was, it was painful. It bothered him. And he wanted it removed. And how many times did he go to God? 3 times. And 3 times God said, no. You tell your kid no, and then your kid comes back. What do you say? I done told you no. Don't you come back and ask me anymore. And guess what? And what? They run to Daddy. Yeah. And poor old Dad says, okay. Then he has to deal with the wrath of Mom. But 3 times Paul asked for that thorn to be removed, didn't he? Okay. Gideon? Yes, Gideon. You know, he challenged God, didn't he, through prayer and wanted a sign for what he was about to face. We've got a lot of individuals, guys, that are pretty bold and pretty confident and pretty assured and pretty blunt in Scripture when they go to God and ask Him for what they want. Now, the writer of Hebrews comes along and he says, guess what? That's exactly what I want you to do. And you just keep going and you just keep asking. And don't stop. And guess what, guys? If we do that, what does he say you're going to get? Notice what he says. Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. Mercy is an interesting word, okay? We always try to come up with simple little definitions of, these salvation words, right? And mercy is a salvation term, right? But mercy is more than just a salvation term, okay? What is mercy? How would you define it? Okay. That's more of grace, normally.
Not giving you what you deserve.
See, there's that theological definition. Not giving you what you deserve. Okay. Having pity. And it's more than that, but it starts there in the heart. Okay. Does anybody remember the Good Samaritan? Okay. The Good Samaritan comes along and he does all that helping for that man who is half dead on the road. Okay. And Jesus asked a question. And the question that he asked was this: which one of these three had mercy on him that fell among thieves? Mercy. Folks, mercy is nothing more than when a person is down and out, when a person is in need of assistance, when a person is, down just where he can't help himself, guess what we do? We render assistance. Now, the writer here tells us, you better get to the throne of grace boldly, because if you do, you can get what? Mercy. You can get the assistance that you need, folks. Do you need assistance? I saw one head shake kind of like this, okay? Let me ask you something, okay? Because, see, all this stuff it's head knowledge so oftentimes, okay? Oh, we can go to God and we get mercy. I know that. So we go to God and we pray for mercy, and then we get up and we just go about our way, right? And we kind of just forget everything. And I guess the question that I'd love to make a sermon out of, and you can help me, is what kind of mercy, assistance, aid do you stand in need of? Now, see, we're down to where the rubber meets the road, aren't we? What kind of assistance has God given you? Nobody's ever been helped by God, I guess. Y'all got a problem in here, okay? Poor things. Health issues? Okay, yes. Guys, sometimes, our health just gets to a point where, guess what? We nor the doctors can do anything about it. Isn't that true? But guess what? We can find mercy at the throne of grace. Can you go to God and beg and plead for Him to assist you for medical needs? Yeah. Guys, there was a king who had a medical need, and guess what? The Bible condemns him because he didn't go to God for help in his affliction. Okay? So if you got an affliction medically, guess who created you? Oh yeah, God did. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. And guess what He can do? He can help, can He? What about finances? Can God help with finances? I know, now we're talking about finances. That preacher's gone liberal. Can God help you with finances? Folks, God can help you with finances. You know it. There have been times when, Kathleen and I was wondering, how in the world I'm pulling from Peter and robbing Paul, and neither Paul nor Peter have anything, and I'm wondering how in the world am I going to get along? And guess what? You make it through, and you wonder how in the world did we make it through? But we did. Okay? Now, it's not miraculous. Okay? God didn't just come to my bedroom and create $1 million and hand it to me. Okay? But somehow through His providence, He worked me through that situation. Okay? Have you ever had struggles in relationships? Maybe you're in some right now. Sometimes it's with kids, is it not? You've done everything you can do. You've apologized, you've called, you've written, you've done everything you can do. And guess what? There's no contact. Guess who you have to go to? It's time to go to God, isn't it? God, I want that person back in my life. I need you to do whatever you can do in order to help me have that relationship again. I've worked on it. I've tried, and I can't do it. I got to do what? Give it to God, don't I? Any other things He can help me with? Forgiveness. Okay, yep, forgiveness. That's a biggie, isn't it? Okay, and we definitely need help there, don't we? Because once we've sinned, guess what? We can't do the forgiveness. The only person who can forgive us is who? The Father. But He's so holy, He can't look upon sin. Right? That's how holy God is. So all of a sudden, God's getting this request, forgive me of sin. And God's going, oh, these little sinners. But guess what Jesus does? See, that's where Jesus' intercession comes in handy for us, isn't it? Any place else? Yes, ma'am. Our spiritual what? In what way? Okay, and He can't He? He can put us in situations and certain circumstances that He can develop us and make us into the kind of person that we need to be. Jesus, in His model prayer, said, Lord, lead us not into temptation. Now, that's a biggie, isn't it? Would it be nice just to walk through a day and never have to face a temptation? That'd be pretty nice, wouldn't it? Okay. Struggles with enemies. Okay. How do we do that? Okay. How do we face those enemies, and how do we deal with those enemies in the right way? Guys, there's just so many applications. And what we have to do is understand God doesn't care what it is. You see, sometimes we think, well, I just don't need to bother God with that. No, bother God with that. He says to. He already knows about it. So it's kind of foolish not to talk to Him about it, isn't He? Because we can obtain what? Mercy. Wow. Notice the definition down there. Mercy, compassion, kindness or goodwill towards the miserable and afflicted, joined with a desire to help them. Folks, that's our God. When God looks down upon us and we're hurting and we're struggling and we can't hardly make it, God isn't up there going, ha, 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 ha. I'm glad you're going through all that trouble. No, God's heart's breaking on your behalf. And if you'll just ask Him, guess what? He's more than willing to render the assistance many times. But He's waiting on what? He's just waiting on us to ask. Come boldly to me. But notice also, we can obtain what? Grace to help in time of need. Remember, I've told you over and over again, the definition of grace that I love is what? Help. That's my, not divine favor, because then I have to wonder, okay, what does favor mean? So now I got to go find, and I found the definition of favor, and guess what it means? Help. Grace to help in time of need. Another biblical word, and we don't use this word very often, is God can succor us. We don't like that word because it sounds kind of, weird, right? Can you imagine, going out into the world and saying, boy, God succored me today. Well, the world, what's wrong with him? Okay? That little word succor means what? Help. That's all it means, help. And that's what grace is there for. Thayer says that it means goodwill, loving kindness, favor, of the merciful kindness by which God, extending His holy influence upon souls, turns them to Christ, keeps, strengthens, increases them in Christian faith, knowledge, affection, and kindles them to the exercise of Christian virtues. Folks, God's grace is there for us. Now remember, we began this section saying that there is a rest that you and I are laboring every day trying to get into, right? Guys, I don't know about you, when you die, guess what you want? I hope you do. I hope you want rest in heaven. But it's hard, isn't it? And so what three things has God given us to help us? His Word, His all-seeing eye, and what? A high priest in heaven. Folks, with those three things to assist us, guess where we can get? We can get to our rest. Jeannie?
When God told Paul, my grace is sufficient for you, would you be able to say that He was telling him by loving kindness and not for you?
Yeah, or just use my definition. My help is enough for you. Okay? I'll help you. I don't have to remove the thorn. Okay? Because what I'm going to do is what? I'm going to help you. You're going to be weak, but through you, when you're weak, I'm going to show myself what? Strong. Okay? So, Paul, you keep your weakness, you keep your thorn, you keep your problem, whatever it is, but guess what? I'll shine through you. I'll help you, even though you still have a thorn. Okay? And just unbelievable. Questions, comments on that section? It's just good stuff to me. Okay?